guys? Vance here. So basically, you guys, have you noticed, we're 1 week away from Mists of Pandaria, and just trying to get the groove in of what most people want to see when mob hits. Just going to be covering the mob talents for hunters, the gear you want, the glyphs, and the certain talents. I'm just going to start off, you guys, by talking about what I'm going to be doing and what I think is looking good for mob and the current spec that I run. First of all, you guys, the first tier I chose Narrow Escape. But basically what it does, when you disengage in an 8-yard radius, it roots everybody for 8 seconds, and it can be dispelled, so just keep that in mind. So the best time for you to use this would be to disengage so everybody's rooted, and then go for a trap so they can't eat it. And if you can time this perfectly with like a dispel or something like that, they'll have to use one of their own abilities to get out of it and attempt to eat that trap. This is a give and go, you guys. The next one is Crouching Tiger, which basically reduces the cooldown of your disengage by 10 seconds and the cooldown of the turns by 60 seconds. Now, you guys, as for beginning hunters, I would maybe recommend this just so you have that extra mobility with the disengage and a little bit of survivability with the 1 minute off the turns. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you're more experienced with kiting and stuff like that, I would recommend Narrow Escape. Alright, guys. Tier number 2 is basically a no-brainer. Of course, Silencing Shot. Silences the target for 3 seconds if interrupted on a spell cast. The other two are pretty much useless. Wyvern Sting leaves a dot, and if you're not expecting to scatter, you won't be able to trap off of it or something like that. And Binding Shot, it's basically just a little tick amount of damage. So as for tier number 2, you guys, I really recommend for you guys to go into Silencing Shot just to get that offensive and defensive ability that you'll be able to use this with. Alright, guys, tier number 3. So for what I have right now, you guys, is I have Exhilaration. What Exhilaration is, it instantly heals you for 30% of my health and your pet for 100% of its total health. Now, you guys, all 3 of these are actually pretty good depending on what comp you're facing. I would put Spirit Bond on the lowest one to get though, and I would mostly switch off Aspect of the Iron Hawk and Exhilaration. What Aspect of the Iron Hawk, you guys, is, it's basically your Aspect of the Hawk, but on top of that, it reduces all damage taking by 15%. Now, the little misconception that I have between these two, you guys, is that Exhilaration does heal your pet for a substantial amount, and as of right now, Mend Pet isn't as strong, and it doesn't heal your pet for literally any amount of damage, and it's quite still pretty easy to kill pets. A lot of good teams, I would say, if you are Beast Mastery, which is what it's going to be for hunters and mob, they will kill your pet, and you can't abandon them unless you're running without a Spirit Beast, which I wouldn't recommend at all. So if you ever encounter a team that is hitting your pet over and over again, I would recommend Exhilaration just so you get that heal off, because basically, you guys, BM, you're nothing without your pet. Absolutely nothing. And the 30% heal is also nice if your healer needs a bit to catch up on necrotic strikes or something like that. As of Aspect of the Iron Hawk, you guys, I would probably choose this for dot cleave, mostly maybe a shadow play or something like that, just to reduce overall damage taken on me. So I mean, you guys, 15% is still a lot. Alright, guys, tier number 4, I would basically put this as Thrill of the Hunt at the top, and second Dire Beast, and therefore Forever. Honestly, you guys, stay away from Dire Beast and Forever unless they do an increasingly substantial amount of damage increase to Dire Beast, because right now it's just not doing that damage, and it's just not there. Basically, you guys, what Thrill of the Hunt is, it's basically a TNT proc, but as of that TNT proc, it's only directed towards your arcane shots. So basically, when it procs, you have 3 charges that will make your arcane shots cost absolutely no focus. So you have a 30% chance when you fire a ranged attack that costs focus, or even if you use skill command, to reduce the focus cost of your next 3 arcane shots or multi-shots by 20. So basically, you barely have to cast Cobra Shot, you guys, as a BM hunter at this point. With just the amount of focus you have, plus this on top, it's just really consistent damage. Alright, guys, tier number 5. This isn't give and go on basically what type of comp you're playing and what kind of playstyle you like to approach. So basically, you guys, Blink Strike is more of a consistent damage spell, so if you really want to keep the consistent damage and always the pressure rolling, I would really recommend Blink Strike. As of Lynx Rush, basically your pet rapidly charges from target to target, attacking 9 times over 4 seconds. So it's basically a lot of damage directed at once, but if there's people beside them, it will kind of split it. So it's kind of a misconception right there, you guys. But Link's Rush is a really good damaging ability. Like, it actually does like a ton of damage. I would really only recommend this when you're playing a really cleave comp and a really bursty comp. So you're basically always gonna have to get that trap off and then use this just to put all of it together at once, you guys. This is the type of spell that you wanna just time perfectly, and you're gonna have to wait for it again if you wanna get a kill, because the damage just isn't there without it if you don't get Blink Strike. That right there, you guys, is the total misconception about either Blink Strike or Link's Rush. So again, you guys, if you want that more consistent damage, go with Blink Strike. It's basically just 600% normal damage, and your pet teleports beyond the target and does that damage. And Link's Rush, again, you guys, it's just a really bursty spell, but again, you gotta guarantee it and you gotta make it count. Alright guys, the 6th tier, which is the ability you get at level 90. Basically, you guys, the spell you're gonna wanna get is Power Shot. It's basically your aim shot, you could say so, which if you're playing Beast Mastery, which most of us will be playing it. Basically what it is, you guys, you wind up a powerful shot which deals 800% weapon damage and 400% on top to all enemies in between you and the target. So it basically sprays a little bit of a ricochet at the end, and it will knock back the target. So you guys, this is a very good spell. The way that you're going to want to use this is on very hard switches. So basically on a throwdown switch to a row with a flare on top or something like that, you guys. You're going to want to use this for very hard switches and unexpected switches. So once again, Power Shot. Alright guys, we're going to move on towards Glyphs now. I just want to talk about a little bit about what Mr. Pandaria is basically aiming to do towards Arena. Basically, you guys, what they've changed is that you can change your total spec, your total glyphs, everything like that, depending on what comps you're going to be facing or what comps you know that you're going to be facing. So for example, you guys, I'm going to start off with glyphs, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I think so. Basically, you guys, the first one that I think will stay, and the second one as well. The first one is Glyph of Mark for Death. Basically, it saves you global and it automatically applies Hunter's Mark, so it'll all give you that beneficial 5% more damage and that attack power, and again, you guys, it'll save you a global, so it's a nice little thing to have for a bit more of consistent damage. The second one, you guys, it's an extended bonus to your Master Skull. It adds 4 seconds to it, totaling up to 8 seconds of a freedom. This might change, but as for now, if nothing drastic will change towards Mr. Pandaria, this is gonna stick. But leading towards my third glyph, you guys, now as a Mr. Pandaria, you're gonna want to have to change this third glyph depending on what you're facing and what maps you get. As of right now in war games, you guys, you can change your glyphs while in Arena, and you can change your spec too. So basically, you guys, the 3 glyphs that I'm going to be choosing to rotate on my third glyph will be Glyph of Animal Bond, Glyph of Explosive Trap, and Glyph of Scattering. I'll be explaining this in a couple seconds, you guys, but first of all, we're gonna target Glyph of Animal Bond right now. Basically what it does, while my pet is active, all healing done to me and my pet is increased by 10%. This is good if you're facing a dog cleave again, you guys, like a shadow play or something like that. But mostly I'm going to be keeping this glyph on for every map except Dalaran and Blade's Edge, most likely. This is why Glyph of Explosive Trap comes into action, you guys. Basically what they've done in Mrs. Pandaria as well, you guys, they've given about a good amount of classes the boof ability, which is a Typhoon, you could say. It knocks you back and it like a substantial amount of distance. So basically, the reason I'm going to be using Glyph of Explosive Trap is so I can knock people off in Blade's Edge Arena and on Dalaran Arena, you guys. This does help us a lot in Dalaran Arena, just because, you know, if you face those teams that play behind the boxes the whole game, this will give you like an upper edge now, you guys. They can't just sit there the whole game. You can knock them off and keep the game rolling. As for my third glyph, you guys, it is going to be Glyph of Scattering. I believe Hunter Lock might come back into action in Mr. Pandaria. That's why I'm choosing this. Basically what it does is it removes all damage over time effects from the target. So if you want to get that scatter trap off on the healer after you switched off of him, you'll get it. You won't have to wait for poisons or anything like that. That as well, you guys, if you're dropping Snake Trap and it leaves those poisons on the target, you can just use a Glyph of Scattering and it'll get rid of them and you'll get your full trap. So you won't have to worry about that anymore. Alright guys, I just want to add one more thing that most new hunters wouldn't know. It's a little thing called pet cycling. I'm just going to recap a little thing about what Cataclysm brought out, and basically it brought out this pet cycling. And now everybody wanted to know, why were all the hunters always in Stranglethorn? Why were they always saving those new monkeys? What's the total purpose of dismissing and resummoning new pets? And I'm going to tell you right now. Basically guys, when you dismiss a new pet and then resummon another one, it resets all its used abilities. So basically it resets all of your pet's abilities when you dismiss and resummon a new one. Obviously if you resummon that pet again, it'll still be on cooldown until it does refresh a cooldown in it. So Row of Sacrifice is on a 1-minute cooldown. I'll show you guys right here what I mean. So as you can see right here, I just used my Row of Sacrifice, my Spirit Man, and even Bullheaded. Now when I dismiss this pet, as you can see right here, I summon another pet and his pets are on off cooldown. So Row of Sacrifice, you can see, is available. Bullheaded and Spirit Man is available as well. So the whole purpose of rotating pets, you guys, is to always be prepared for a deep freeze, or I don't know, like it's really incoming damage. The best example that I can give you guys is getting ready for a next deep freeze or something like that. You'll have a sack ready for it if your partner doesn't have a trinket. So you always want to have that extra edge, and that's exactly what pet cycling is, you guys. Alright guys, thanks for watching this level 95 Mists of Pandaria little hunter guide that I put together. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you learned a good amount of information from it. Just put down in the comments below if there's anything you need clearing up on, and I'll try my best to read most of the comments and answer your guys' questions. Thanks again, and this is Vans.